Emilia Michelle Taylor was born. And the reason why I ask every father, everyone that understand that was raised upright, the pains of not being able to raise your child. And the reason why I've been blocked from raising my child is because one woman, after a custody battle that happened, the, the judge in Finland, Jyväskylä was the city, I was awarded, allowed it visitation right every second weekend and every second holiday. It has been 17 years. I have not had any contact with my daughter. Why is that? In the year 2000, after the custody battle, Emilia Ricola, she pulled the stunt that's hard to believe that anyone that has a grain of sense would believe the story. But now I would like all the witnesses that came to court on my behalf, and all of the friends and family members, now we come to the closing of this chapter of how that one woman, Emilia Ricola, was able to undermine a whole system of government and law enforcement and Department of Health and Human Services, in the medical field. All of them failed to see the urgent need of a child 3 years old needs to be rescued and saved by a mother that had bullied her to the point to convince her to go around and lie. Now, going back to the beginning, after the custody battle, I won. The mother wanted single custody. They awarded me joint custody, and I have the right to have all of her medical records, all of her school records. And every father know how important it is to be involved in their child's life. But how is it that one rotten apple have brought this upon the Republic of Finland? All the participants that the mother was able to convince, even all the way up to the supreme leader of the Republic of Finland. And now, after 17 years, I come to tell the world that here's a woman that betrays her daughter, turns on her daughter, and tells lies that her father sexually abused her. Now, let me explain to y'all how this all began. It all started with that I was supposed to receive 2 weeks with my daughter for the summer in the year 2000. I had received every second weekend with her. The mother made it very hard. She moved out of the city of Jyväskylä about almost 2 hours away, which meant that I had to travel now to see her. But here's what happened. That a child 3 years old was forced to believe, bullied by her mother. It started off, it was supposed to be two. Her father and another man, African by the name of Ansu, may he rest in peace. Now, how did Ansu get involved in this? Because the prosecutor had already tried Ansu for another charge that was trumped up against him about some woman. He was in a disco and he went to her place and they had a good time, and when he was leaving, he was arrested. It started off with two. And the reason why the DA, Oli Santane, connected me with Ansu because Ansu was already had a case against him where he was already paying money to the lady. So that's how that mysterious Ansu got involved. But then as it went on, the mother convinced the child to lie and say there was a Turkish man. Now, how did this Turkish man get involved? Because when it was asked, how did the Turkish man get involved in this now? First it started with two, now it's a Turkish man. Remind you, my daughter at this time was less than 3. So what I did, I requested her medical records. If these things have happened, I would like to see the medical records to show. Well, the DA that was prosecuting this case, Oli Santa name, I think his name was determined that he was going to send me to jail. Now, go back to where it started. Because the mother had reneged several times with the court ruling, I was constantly asking them, why don't they put this mother in her place and take charge? And suddenly, from out of nowhere, the mother came up with this plot that now we got other people's involved with it. We got another family of mine, of another relationship that I had with another Finnish woman that we gave birth to 2 children, Michael and Samuel. Their mother was included. And on top of that, my son from Lisa, Mikael, he was also Samuel. All of these supposed to have done this heinous crime without no evidence. So what that led to, after 2 years, I tried to get this thing into court so it can get over with, and that they would truly find the truth that the mother, she cooked up this whole thing. But this is what's more striking and absolutely weird, is that she convinced them that all this happened, and when it went to court, I was fortunate, and I would like to take this time to thank all of those that came and stood up for the truth. Because what we're about to hear is hard to believe. That here's an innocent child, a toddler, needs urgent care. And all of these adults in the room, the Sergeant Ilpo, I told him, I said, the mother, she orchestrated this whole thing. And if you really want to get to the bottom of this, bring my daughter, Emilia, to the police station. I would come and bring the little pet that she had loved. Our pet Billy was a guinea pig. And then have Michael and Samuel come in, and then I'll come in. But no, they did not do this. They made sure that there would be no contact, out of sight, out of mind, after promised me that I'll get a chance to see my daughter. I traveled to where she was at. In one session, they had doctors, they had social workers, and they sit me around in a circle in a hot seat, and it was telling me that my daughter had said, and I had, up until that point, wouldn't think that the mother would go that low and say that our daughter said these things. I told him I didn't want to hear it. I want to go back, let my lawyer know, and that this is not the end of it. Well, all of you all that remember how this all started, well, now I want you all to go wake up the lawyers, wake up all the witnesses, wake up the judges, wake up all the doctors and all the social workers, and let them know that Miri Arikala is wanted for crime against humanity, and all of those that collaborated with her as equally as guilty. Because in the real world where we live in, it is absolutely intolerable, unacceptable, and I want it to be crystal clear so all of you all out there hear this here, that the mother was able to bring into our private a custody battle that turns into a criminal case in which the appeal court, of course, I was found not guilty and acquitted when it did get to court, thanks to the grace of the Almighty, that when I went to the U.S. consulate in Helsinki, Constance Anderson was the consular there. And she asked me a simple question. She said, Charles, you've been trying for 2 years to get your daughter's medical records. And I said, yes. I said, that would free me. But no, the prosecutor had promised on many occasions in which my lawyer that was representing me at the time, had him to admit that he was going to give us my daughter's medical record, which we never received. Now, why I'm calling all of you all out there to weigh in on this is because after 9 years, when it did go to court, I was acquitted. The U.S. consulate was there. She was there in the preliminary hearing. And what was so strange about it, it was supposed to be secret for 30 years. But here, after victorious, being defeated, going before the rulers and leaders of the Republic of Finland, that the appeal court overturned the district court in which I was found not guilty and found me guilty. And what was the new results that caused a guilty is because the doctors and everyone who came, and I thank all of you all, Dr. Amnel, and all of the witness, I'm gracefully thankful that you all came to defend the truth. But this is hard to believe that anyone would want to be associated with. A crime of this magnitude, that's mega. This is a hate crime. Why would anyone want to be linked to something and to be remembered? All those years that they studied to become in such high position, appeal judges. I told the appeal judges that I believe, I quoted the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King, that I believe that someday that man would not be judged by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. But that had not happened yet. And I told them I hadn't seen it then, and now it is obvious that the Finnish overseers that allowed one rotten apple to bring down this shame upon the whole country. Now here's the truth. I have all the documents to prove it and show you that after 9 years, please go to the website. You can find this yourself. I'm going to just skim through what I've had to go through for 17 years. The case of D versus Finland, it has the application number, it has the judgment. July the 7th, 2009 was the final. June the 11th, 2009, the judgment. D versus Finland unanimously defeats Finland. Finland was warned. When they sit me down, I told them they were wanted for crime against humanity. After 9 years, it went to the appeal judges, it went to the Supreme Court leaders, the official, the president of the Supreme Court, accepted the ruling of the appeal judges. My attorney, we appealed and went to the the European Human Court of Right, it was your unanimous decision. After 8 years, I returned to Finland, hoping that now I'll get a chance to be reunited with my daughter. I called Mr. Bolin at the Helsinki capital. He answered the phone. Mr. Bolin was at the appeal court. He said, Charles, you back? You want to see your daughter? I'm so happy. Find out from the social worker where she is. We'll set up a meeting so you can be reunited. I went to the social office and requested to know where was my daughter located. I was informed that I have nothing to do with Emilia, that there was a restraining order against me, and that the mother was given total custody. To my amazement and disbelief, I'm thinking that now, as I told them in the district court, that they all have some kind of collective amnesia because it started off with they were going to make sure that the visitation, that rights that was given to me by the judge in the court of Uvescula, that I would be allowed to raise my daughter in a way that I only know, upright. Here is an adult, says allegedly that 5 adults and 1 child sexually molested a child 3. How in the world that they allow Emilia Ricola to suppress their logic, because it's illogical. This is a myth. And now I'm happy to say that I was fortunate on this path to bring into this here closing chapter of this here bizarre and weird story of how one rotten apple brought it to now before the whole human race. Because I want everyone out there that see me today and hear these words, we're going to take what you call a do-it-yourself psychological test. And if you can count to 1, 2, 3, you are in. First question: if a woman betray her God-gifted gift, which is the most precious gift bestowed upon mankind, to have a child. Question: is it right for a father to be ejected out of a child's life, or all around the world, fathers understand that children are raised to honor their mothers and their fathers? This is a question. Here's a mother with intention to eject me out of my daughter's life, and here are the officials that I'm telling them that I would love for them to please remove my daughter from out of harm's way, see that she's protected, and see that no harm come to her. How is it that the appeal judges can find me guilty of only wanting to give my daughter her love and affection, and said that I must go to prison for 3.5 years? That did not happen. All what they were trying to do to me today, I'm here to say that the appeal judges that rendered this decision that I should go to prison for 3.5 years, they are wanted for crime against humanity, because they are also guilty from deconstructing an innocent toddler's brain. Damage that would live a severe damage, irreversible damage, maybe until we would never have a normal relationship. All because of one individual that was able to have a fantasy that she was going to make sure she vowed that I would never ever see my daughter again. Now here's the question. I would like everyone to weigh in to help me put some sense into the overseers of the Republic of Finland that this is not the human way of living. And I have been fortunate to bring into this here closing battle. I thank you, and I'm gratefully thank you for Cleo Stocker, an elderly lady that's 102 years old. She said, "What's wrong with these people?" She went on live to tell the world that she introduced the Congressman John Lewis, brought him in, and I'm telling all of them to come and see how this ends. Come back, Annalisa, she was my attorney. Come back, Ted, through the first lawyer. Come back, Timo Atomo. I want the U.S. Consular Edward Brisner that was at the appeal court. I want the Honorable Dr. Reverend Harris, the Reverend Pastor Bruce Hood. Thank you for having a show where we had a car show. And this car show, he invited me to come and tell the people the truth about how I've suffered, only to know if my daughter is still alive. Here's the event that was put on, and I'm so thankful and grateful for Pastor Bruce Hood on Stop the Madness, and that's what we did. We are here to let the citizen of Finland know that they have no reason to be afraid of Emilia Ricola. Her kingdom has come and her kingdom is done. On May the 20th, there was a march against Matt. Pastor Bruce Hood called in the foot soldiers to march through the city. No to Matt and no to the myth. No to Matt and no to the myth that a father, a loving, caring father, will not have this shame brought upon his family name. And to honor the Honorable Andrew and Madeline Taylor, that they can rest in peace forever, to know that their son, Charles Taylor, the seventh son of 8 boys, for I came up in a home, and most of us was raised better than that, that they would never ever introduce the child to something so evil as this. How is it that all of these professional, intelligent people would allow a child to be raised up believing, brainwashed, that she has been sexually abused? And how is it that all of these accusers, that only the father was singled out and framed to be the one charged? Well, here is where all of those that participated, this is a hate crime. Chief Jerry Dyer, thank God, was the guest speaker at this event. And now here's the truth. To the overseers, I am asking everyone with a human heart and have the sense of reasoning to help me make sure that from the age from 3 to 12, the love and joy, the fun time that was given to me to share with my daughter has been erased, crossed off. From the time when my daughter was 13 to 19, there's no contact, completely erased. There's no memories that we should share together of what we did. Like the supreme leader of the Supreme Court of Finland, that would allow a myth to bring this before the congressman I'm grateful and thankful for Jim Costa, the Senator Barbara Boxer. I'm thankful that she had the opportunity to weigh in on this. I'm thankful to the Councilwoman Cynthia Sterling that told me to make sure Pastor Hood know of this injustice. After the event that Pastor Hood invited me, and there would be photos to see that there was countless people that came up to the stage and marched down with meth, down with this myth. And we are here today to say down with Emilia Auricula and all of those that stood back while innocent child is being deconstructed. And I ask all of you all that witnessed this, was it a good thing? And now all of you all will be shown to the world that this is a hate crime, what the mother has done, and she have linked all of you all into it, and all of you all will be remembered in history. As Mother Stocker said live on Facebook, Satan's fool. But here's another name that they will have attached to their grave forever. That in the real world we live in, if a mother or anyone dare bully a little child that's irresponsible of them, this is ill sickness to have a child to raise up like this. The flesh of my blood. And I'm asking President Obama, how would you feel if for 17 years you didn't see your children? So now here's the conclusion of this year. There was never a crime committed. So the officers of the law of Finland, the Sergeant Ilpo, have been disserviced. I was at the police station of Finland in Jyväskylä, called down with my lawyer there through. I thought that now they're going to show this woman, because in the real world, if a woman pull a stunt like this, you pull her by the ears, you put her in a straitjacket, and you do what the father said, have her psychologically evaluated. Something is mentally wrong when a person can go so low to damage, long-term severe damage to a child. And all of these grown folks got eyes and see it, and got ears and hear it. On the video, the mother was able to, collectively with the doctors, plan a game of toy children's, a boy doll, putting it on top of the girl doll. And this is what they drilled into our child's brain. But now, here's the end. I invited all of these people in to see the conclusion of this. Thank you, Councilman Oliver Bain, and all of the participants that Emilia Auricula brought into this, how they're going to be remembered. Not how it was when they were in college or in high school, but in their latter years. The 3 appeal judges, their names will be all over the social media. The doctors, here's a little, go back into when this beginning. The doctor, he was a Pakistani doctor. His name, all of them are going to be in the media. So we can point them all out. Urge Emilia to take the boy doll. And when the mother, who was dictating the scene, told the doctor in front of these officials that he wasn't even a Christian. He didn't know anything because of his skin, that he was not a Christian. So she said, you don't have anything to say. She completely took over. Told me in front of the police, she don't care anything about the police. The only thing she care about is that her God. She went around talking about God, talk to me. Well, today, I'm telling you that her God is left her. Her phone number has been disconnected, Finland. And since none of you all officials could not put out this here bonfire so that the spell that she have cast over not only my daughter, but all of you all. Because here's a test. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, how much do you think you value in the eyes of the Most High? Because Emilia is an earth child. And while the mother was dictating and leading all of you down this here dark road, there's no going back now. You didn't sign your name. And I'm here to tell you that you must pay, that there will be justice. And I'm asking for everyone to do their part. And there's a letter being written, already drafted by my staff and to the last lawyer, Kirsi, in which we addressed Mr. D versus Finland. It's not going to be a number 4. It's over. And this is what has happened. And this is what's being revealed. That if a woman could influence judges to send a man to prison for asking him to please help him have a relationship, interact with his own flesh and blood, only to be blocked for 17 years. I ask, how would you feel if this was your child or if this was someone you knew? And all of you all that know me can bear testimony this day that D, known to many, CT, have defeated the whole country of Finland and brought them before shame before the world. And they are found guilty for crime against humanity. And they must pay. And I'm asking for all of those that have a simple heart and a simple mind to understand that if we cannot bring them to the reality of what has happened, that we bring closure so that the future sergeant, social worker, doctors, judges would know how to lead a nation in truth and honesty. Because what is the role of a doctor? What is the role of a social worker? What is the role of a mother? And what is the role of a father? In the event that Mother Stocker spoke live, she talked about a special friend. And this is how I end with this here. For a special friend to all of you all out there, to all of my children, to Margaret Poole from South Africa that told me that, Charles, you have to